Hi everyone, this is Cherry Enchantress. Today is the 31st. Happy birthday to anyone who is on the 31st. And the 31st is the Hermit, as shown in Linda Goodman's Star Signs book under the Chaldean Numerology chapter. And also in Tarot, the Hermit is a very noticeable feature. This is from this Hermit picture right here, card, is from the Rider deck, and this one is from Shadowscapes, is the one I'm using. And here's a nice painting of Jesus or God with a lantern. See, the lantern is very symbolic in all three cards. And this is The Light of the World by William Holman Hunt. So 31 is called the Recluse or the Hermit. Those whose birth or name number is 31 should first read the analysis of the foregoing compound number 30, because 31 is very similar to it, except that the person or entity represented by this number is even more self-contained and self-sufficient, lonely and isolated from others. I did a little video talk with my face yesterday on the 30th. I had to do a little quickie because I didn't really have time to set up cards or anything. But you could watch that video to learn about 30, and then that'll apply to this number as well. Quite often, genius is present, or at least high intelligence. At some unexpected time in life, the glittering promises of the world will be suddenly rejected for the peace and quiet of nature, or if the response to 31 is not quite that pronounced, there will nevertheless eventually be a degree of retreat from society in some manner. The 31 person is sometimes opinionated, an advocate of political change while remaining fixed in personal habits. Even in a crowd, a 31 person will often feel a sense of loneliness and isolation. And then in the cards, it's very similar to that meaning as well. The Hermit is silent counsel, a meeting with one who will guide the seeker towards his goals, courage and maturity to do what's right, the open-mindedness to be willing to accept help when offered. And sometimes when this comes up, it shows that somebody needs advice and help from somebody, and they're not taking it because they're too stubborn to take it. They feel like they know it all and they don't need any advice from anybody. So we might think on that possibility when the Hermit comes up. Oftentimes, though, the Hermit does represent you, and you might very well be at the high point of your spiritual wisdom and now willing to share your wisdom with others. Obviously, I think the only person who ever was at their highest point in wisdom were godlike people like Jesus, or any kind of spiritual figure out there that reached sort of a high point. But even so, we can all have that moment where we have this kind of feeling of truth, where we want to help people. And even if we don't know it all, we still want to help people with what we do know. So if you are a counselor or someone out there who wants to help with the knowledge that you have stumbled upon, that's always a good thing. And be open-minded enough to receive knowledge and advice from other sources. And it's up to you and that ringing bell of truth in your mind to know if it's something that you should apply or should stay away from. And that can sometimes be a problem. But I think if you're 31 and you're born on this day and you have this Hermit influence, I think you'll be able to discern the difference between valid advice and something that's not so true. And the Shadowscapes card It's funny because when it's come up before, it sort of reminds me of Frozen, the Disney movie, and Elsa and how she separates herself from society because she's afraid of her power. Basically, she hasn't managed it. She hasn't been able to control it yet, and she turns everything to ice. Everything she touches, she has like the opposite of the Midas touch. She just turns everything, and so she keeps herself hidden away from everyone as a way to protect people. So this hermit in the Shadowscapes kind of makes me think of that too. And the definition or description of it is being introspective, seeking solitude, withholding from the world, and giving or receiving guidance. The hermit is an inspirational friend and teacher, and his help can illuminate the secrets of one's own mind. So there you go again. Like, it's the same teacher-student thing going on here. You might be the teacher or you might be the student receiving the help from the teacher, but even if you're a student, you do know some things and you can help others, and it's just like this beautiful flow of knowledge and sharing of wisdom between people. And you might like to find a community that's like that you feel you can be involved in. A lot of people, that's why they go to church, because it's a community like that where it's a spiritual guide that is helping you through your daily life, and the fellowship of your community helps you grow spiritually. That's the way it should be anyway. But if you haven't been able to find anything like that for yourself, just keep searching, and if you can't find it in sort of a group of people, then it's perfectly fine to find it within yourself, to just keep growing on your own. Do your own research, meditate, read, study, and be your own guide, and listen to the angels, because they're there to help you. In another reading I had, I mentioned that, I think it was also a hermit reading, I mentioned that, the partnerships reading. Partnerships can be difficult and challenging sometimes, but you still have the partner between you and God, or you and your angels, or you and the spirit, or whoever you believe in. Let them be your partner and your guide. So if you're kind of this hermit type that you can't really trust on anybody, or especially groups of people, then you can always trust your angel. Okay, well, that's the end of my reading. My battery is about to die. Faith, trust, and pixie dust. See you next reading.